So today should be New Year's Eve when you watch this video, and I am super excited for the new year. I want to shoot more content, talk to you guys more, make some new friends, play some more board games more importantly. Hi everyone, Juan from qvogames. Today we are going to present my December haul. Was going to be my Christmas December haul, but I didn't really get many gifts for Christmas in board games, which is fine. I got plenty of other gifts, which is I'm very grateful for all that, and my family was great. I got so many cool stuff. I didn't get any board games, which is fine, because I typically buy them all anyways, as it is. Yeah, so I'm really excited. We're going to go over a couple of games that I got. Nothing too crazy, but we did get some Kickstarters in, which is kind of great, and I'm really excited to show you guys. So let's get started. We'll get started first with something a little more simpler. An expansion, Detective City of Angels, Cloak and Daggered. So Detective essentially is a game where you are on it's kind of like a crime mystery solver, and you have one person who plays the chisel, right? Who is like the game master or whatever it is. They play every other NPC, and their goal is to misdirect the investigators to go other directions while you're and they have to guess if he is or if he isn't lying, if they aren't lying at that point. And that's what the chisel essentially does. This is just an expansion for the game. It adds a couple more cards, new scenarios, new investigations. I have the main game still, and I'm going to want to play that sometime in the next month or two, because I think the theme is actually awesome, and what it does as a game is very different and cool. It's almost like playing D&D, but in a really different setting, right? It's not high fantasy or anything out of the sort. It's more an investigator, and this time I think in the chisel, the game master here, he's truly out to get you, and so should a GM or DM be, but they have more leverage. The goal of the chisel in this game, and the mechanic is, they have to be out to get you. Super excited to get this on the table, and that's one thing here. Next up is going to be the Hood, Marvel Champions. Feeding my obsession again of Marvel. I actually got to play Marvel Champions this last weekend again, and I finally kind of got it the right way. I was just playing a simpler deck, and I had two friends with me, and someone was playing Doctor Strange, the other person was playing Captain Marvel. It was a bit slow playing the original decks, right? So I'm looking to get more into the bigger decks, and the Hood essentially, he's a villain character from the Marvel series, and this brings in 3 new scenarios where you get to play you essentially get to play, from my understanding, it's a scenario featuring the Hood. It includes 9 new modules. So Marvel Champions is basically a deck builder, essentially, and the deck building aspect is you get to build from a set of cards that you purchase from a deck. It's called the Legacy card game, or a living card game. And the living card game aspect is the fact that when you buy a deck, it tells you exactly what you're getting in that set of cards, and that's what Marvel Champions does. And I have almost all of them. I think I'm missing 1 or 2. However, I almost have them all, and when the Hood came out, of course I want to buy it. I want to get it all, and also things in my city go out of sale or they just go out of sale really fast, and it's really difficult to get more. So when the things become available, I typically tend to buy them right away. It's just a thing, and I really need to stop it, because you're about to see how many games are piling up. However, the Hood, I'm really excited to get that to the table, and it's super great. Another expansion that came in is Clank in Space Pulsarcade. Clank is a deck builder. You basically it's a head-to-head game. It's competitive. You're going around on a board, depending on if you're playing the original or the in space version, which is the sci-fi theme of it, Clank. And you're going around the board, and you're trying to get a treasure in the depths of a spaceship and run out. When you grab it, you have to run out, and you can die, of course, with a dragon or Lord Eradicus, who is a overlord in space of the spaceship you're in, trying to rob treasure. You're trying to loot treasure from him. Pulsarcade adds a little bit more of it's almost like an episode at this point. It's adding a little bit more like campaign aspect, which is a lot of fun, of course. And they have cool little meeple bikes and look like light bikes, and that's super fun. I want to get to the expansions more, and then make a couple of videos comparing on which ones you should and shouldn't buy, and this is just a start to that. Really excited to get Pulsarcade to the table. Clank in Space also back to the table. I love Clank. It's one of the first deck builders I ever played, and probably one of the most. I haven't even played the original, which is Dominion, but Clank in Space is a great one. So this next one has a little bit of a story to it. A lot of people have mixed reviews on Tidal Blades, and I can see why. I mean, the game seems pretty simple. People say that it does things differently, that it does things that can be done by other games, and I fully understand that. However, my local game store was having a discount on it for like 50% off. It was $25, I believe. and that's a pretty affordable price. It's an asymmetric game. It has a little bit of dice rolling. It's cooperative. It has some cooperative battles. It's pretty straightforward, and I have heard a lot of opinions about it, but I'm going to make my own, and we'll see how it goes. I'm also excited for part 2 coming out on Kickstarter soon, so I want to play this first, see if I like it, and then hopefully back to Kickstarter. That's going to be super fun. Next up is going to be a monster of a game. It's Descent: Legends of the Dark, along with some promo stuff. We have some premium health dials, some more promo cards, as well as, that's really it, honestly. I thought I had a little bit more. I thought I had some game mats, but I guess I don't. Descent: Legends of the Dark by Fantasy Flight Games. It's a dungeon crawling adventure, 4-player adventure, and it actually includes terrain, and it's really worked by an app. The app is used to have your stats and your hero sheet on it, and there's different characters that have different abilities. The game essentially itself, it's a dungeon crawler, of course, and when you're playing the game, you run it on the app, and you're using your characters. You're going through, and the box section even includes terrain and larger miniatures. That's really exciting, and I want to see what it's like. I am looking to play first edition as well, and I want to compare and see which one I like the most. People say first edition is better than second edition, but I like the fact that an app is being involved, because this is making, I think that's the future of gaming. That's a new trendy thing, right? Apps being involved with board games, just mixing the two together. And I personally think that's a great idea. If it makes the experience a lot better and it just amplifies the experience of playing a board game, why not integrate an app? I'm all for it, and I'm excited to see where this takes board gaming. I'm excited to see where Descent takes me on an adventure, of course. Also, the expansion is a hybrid Centurion promo figure and some more cards. Okay, next up are going to be the Kickstarters, alright? So there have been 2 Kickstarters that come in, and I'm so happy they finally did, and I've been waiting for them for a long time. So the first one's going to be Final Girl. Here's the monster of Final Girl. So it came with all the expansions, Geppetto, of course, the expansion right here. Final Girl is by Vanrider Games, same company that published Detective City of Angels. But Final Girl is more of a solo game. It's a solitaire game where you're playing as a final girl in like a cult horror classic, right? And at the end of the game, and your goal is to outsmart the killer. And of course, this one's going to be for Geppetto. This one's going to be for Yaba. I'm not too sure who that is. It looks like more of like an Aztec type of monster or demon. The next one's going to be the Butcher. Hans the Butcher, essentially. Yeah, the game looks awesome. I'm really excited to finally get to try it, and I've been waiting for this for a long time. I love horror and the horror aspect, and this is the core box, and I can't wait to see where this exactly takes us, because I want to get more into solo gaming and getting more into that, because I think a lot of the times I do have friends to play with. However, getting them to play sometimes is difficult, and that's fine. So I can play a solo game and still put up more content and talk to you guys and tell you more about my experiences. This is the Poltergeist. I am not a big fan of poltergeisting because I am terrified. I get easily scared, tremendously easily scared, and it also came with the Terror from Above expansion. It came also with miniatures. The miniatures were a little disappointing to me. I didn't really find them too appeasing. They're kind of lackluster to me, honestly. I thought they were going to be better, and I don't regret buying them, but we'll see where that takes us and how that goes. Also came with a scenario book, lore and scenario book. Pretty simple, a lot of words, of course. I'll probably read this. I love to read. I love reading so much, and so I'm excited to get into that. One of the biggest games I got now that we're getting into a little more of my next Kickstarter, it's a big one, and I'm going to carry it up here. Ugh. So I got Role Player Adventure. This is by Thunderworks Games. If you haven't played Role Player before, it's similar to D&D. And the cool part of Role Player Adventure is that you can actually transfer your character from other role player games. So if you played another role player with promos, add-ons, everything else, you can transfer it all into Role Player Adventure. In this game, you're basically going through, there's 16 different scenarios from my understanding, and you're going through with your character that you made, and you're rolling dice and trying to pass the campaign. And there's different decisions you can make. You can befriend a troll, you can fight him, choose not to kill the vampire on the quest, or befriend the cultist. And it's all just very thematic, and I enjoy that fact that it's kind of like a choose your own adventure situation, and I love that. I'm excited to get into this. Also, it's kind of caters to my D&D friends a little bit, who like playing D&D but don't want to play a board game that often. And I'm like, I love board game. I love tabletop games in general. And yeah, I'm excited to see if hopefully they'll be willing to jump into this one with me. This is a big box. This is massive, and it also came with the expansion, Nephra's Judgment expansion. Yeah, it's a pretty big boy. Maybe I'll do an unboxing of this as well, since I think that's a little more exciting. That's kind of going to be all the games essentially that I got for December. And I'm kind of excited to see what else you got. Did you get any more games? What did you get? What did you buy? What did you bring? Did you get any gifts for Christmas? Let me know. Let me know in the comments below. If not, DM me on Instagram, message me. Let's talk about the games you got. And like, comment, subscribe. Always appreciated. Like I said, supports me. I love talking to you guys. I want to talk to you guys more often. And knowing that you're watching and you're there, even better. Because at the moment, I'm just kind of talking to a camera in the room. And you're kind of my audience. So please, like, comment, subscribe so I can talk to you. Thank you, everybody. Happy New Year.